So the next time you board the aircraft, remember that everything is done, everything is coordinated, your aircraft is safe, everybody knows what they do, and there's a thorough planning process. Your departure and arrival airports know what to do. They are built by standards, they are built to meet standards, so you are safe. Hello guys, HeliPilotGh. So people are still nervous about flying. I still get questions about how safe flying is. I want to tell you that it is still one of the safest modes of transport. Why is it safe? It is a highly regulated space. Highly regulated. Emphasis on highly regulated. You cannot pick one aircraft from one point to another just like that. You must go through processes. The whole aviation space, that's a civilian aviation space, is regulated by a body called the International Civil Aviation Organization. It's a United Nations agency. They ensure safety, security, and in recent times, environmental protection. So they do this with what we call the SARPs, Standards and Recommended Practices. And every member state signed to this organization must follow this. They know that all hands are not equal. There are developed countries and there are developing countries and there are underdeveloped countries. However, they ensure that countries meet a minimum standard, and this standard ensures that everybody is safe. However, it's nice to also meet the standards of the developed world to help you. The thing is that unconsciously, the developed world sort of pushes the developing world to get to the standards of the developed world, and it helps. I mean, if you have the standards of America in your country, or the standards of a developed country in your country, it's good. However, the minimum standard required by the organization still keeps you safe. Basically, let's understand that. So this ICAO, this organization has what we call annexes, and these annexes are specific. And there's an annex we call Annex 6. And this Annex 6 will sort of deal with the operation of an aircraft. So, operation of an aircraft. How is the aircraft operated? Annex 6 will deal with it. There's an annex, Annex 1, who will deal with the licensing of personnel, licensing and qualification of the of personnel. There's an annex, Annex 14. This annex deals with the design and the operation of the aerodrome. That's the airport environment. So all these things have standards and they ensure that the countries, the airlines, all stakeholders meet these standards. The other thing is that the planning process in flying is not a joke. You must go through a thorough process to ensure that everybody is on the same page before the aircraft leaves the tarmac. Actually, the planning actually begins when they tell you about the route. Maybe it is Accra, Düsseldorf. As soon as you are informed about the route, the planning process starts. Sometimes it could even start before because it's a route you anticipate. So they make sure that everything is done. As we discussed earlier, the Annex 6 specifically outlines some operational procedures for the airlines. And this will include safe flight routes, weather assessment, ensure that the aircraft is fully prepared for the journey. That's very important. And then under ICAO's standards, airlines are to ensure that or to submit their flight plans to air traffic control before the flight departs. So the controllers are ready and they know what you're going to do before you leave the airspace. And the receiving end also will know that you are coming, basically. The flight plans, they use what you call the global flying planning standards to get the best routes for every journey. And the ICAO Annex 6, which the Annex 6 has to do with operational procedures of airlines, will also consider that flight planning must look at contingency. Contingency means if you can't go to A, there should be B. You understand? In case something happens like bad weather, an emergency, or any situation that may arise, that will require diversion. So what about the aircraft itself? The aircraft we are going to fly, the place is regulated. You know that the planning is done thoroughly. Now the aircraft itself, there's what we call the Annex 8. This Annex 8 has to do with the airworthiness. Worthy. Is the aircraft worthy enough to be in the air? Is the aircraft worthy enough to carry passengers? All these things are highlighted in this annex so that everybody or every stakeholder knows what to do with respect to this. Now, in the sky, how is the coordination in the sky done between air traffic control and the crew? There's real-time monitoring in aviation. Real-time monitoring. not shady monitoring, real time, to ensure that everybody is at the particular place you are at a point in time. So it comes with Annex 2. This Annex 2 provides standards for air traffic control. And these air traffic control have procedures which ensure safe separation. Safe separation meaning that when two aircraft are going to the same destination, they are separated both vertically and horizontally. They are safe from each other to ensure that the airspace is coordinated. Now, what are we looking at again? Air traffic controllers will use sophisticated technology, modern technology. I mean, radar and satellites, so they know where everybody is at any point in time. We call them like the small gods. That's small gods, small g. They can see where everybody is. It's like a screen. They are just pushing, hey, go, you are here, go here, turn right. Like they are playing us like a game, because they have the best eye view of everything that goes on. Now, there's always a level of coordination between the flight crew and air traffic control. And this is very impressive because ICAO standards ensure that there's standard communication, not friendly conversation, standard conversation. There's the standard physiology for everybody, such that you don't say unnecessary things and whatever you say is anticipated. And because you would have filed your flight plan, everybody knows what is going on, the departure procedure and route procedure, arrival procedure. Now you are arriving, you are touching down. That airport that you are going to land, or the airport you even took off from, is regulated by certain standards. And this will bring us to Annex 14. That's the operation of airports. And this includes the construction of the runways, safe zones, and emergency services. If you remember, there was an incident in South Korea involving a Jeju airline crash, involving a Jeju airline. And there were issues about the location of certain navigational equipment close to the runway. All these things come into play with respect to when we are talking about Annex 14, that is the operation of airports. So the way you construct your runways, the safety zones, emergency services, and the standards are supposed to ensure that every airport is safe for operation, safe buffer. I mean, runway size for the type of aircraft. I remember some time ago, somebody asked me whether an A350 could land at the Kumasi International Airport. And I said, I doubt. It's not landed there for me before, but I doubt because of one, the wingspan, the length of the runway. Maybe an empty one, but I doubt. Yes. Or an A380. Definitely not. But if it's an A320, I mean, CRD and those small airlines like the ones that are local airlines use, that's fine. But for larger aircraft, you must land at a larger airport with a larger runway and a larger receiving point. So this Annex 14 covers all these things. So let me know if you still have any fears with respect to aviation. Please like, share, and subscribe. HeliPilotGh. Cheers.